Good morning. We invite you to please rise in body or spirit to sing with us our gathering song, Gathered Here. We're going to sing this through twice, and then we're going to sing it as a two-part round twice. This side of the room will be with me. That side of the room will be with Nesa. Here we go.
Good morning. Welcome to Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Rodney Lemery, and my pronouns are he and him. For those of you visiting us this morning, welcome. We are really glad that you've chosen to spend a little bit of the time this week with us, and that is whether you are here in the sanctuary, in Borton Hall, should you need a little extra space, or on our live stream. Everyone want to wave to the people on the live stream? For those online, please join us for a virtual coffee hour, which will be held 15 minutes after the service. That way you can say hello to one another. If you are visiting, we hope that you will sign a visitor's card, either virtually or at the Rainbow Table after the service. And for those of you who are ready to join, you will have an opportunity to sign the book of membership for the first Sunday of every month. So you can mark that on your calendar if that is something that speaks to you. Also, I have to do a shameless plug for the middle schoolers. They are happy to give us all the refreshments we want after the service on the brick patio to your left. And today is a special day as well. Right next to that table will be our community partner, Planet Renew, the owner of that Walnut Creek shop. It's a sustainable cleaning product store. She will be there, set up shop, lots of things to purchase. There's something for everyone to combat climate change, so we hope you stop by. Also reminding you all that next Sunday is our annual All Souls service, when we remember all of those that we have lost to death. If you have had a recent death or you would like to mark one, you are invited to process in with a candle. So please contact our student chaplain, Travis McPhee, to participate. And next Sunday is also our trunk or treat, and we still need trunk hosts. So please sign up with Marina McGregor if you're willing to decorate your trunk and provide some treats for the children of our community. And thank you very much, and welcome to this, our beloved community.
Good morning. My name is Steve Deach. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he and him. Mount Diablo Universalist Church is a welcoming faith community. We begin our services by reading our mission together. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. This community exists because of the time, talent, and treasure that our members and friends share. Please check out the Just-in-Time section of our weekly email and our newsletter, and the Just-in-Time board that's located in Borton Hall to contribute and connect. The best way to learn more about us is to sign a visitor's card online or at our umbrella table to receive our This Week at MDUUC email. While we are no longer requiring masks, our expectation is that those that are here are symptom-free, especially as the area is having additional COVID cases. And after me, a special announcement about our Bid for Love, our largest fundraiser of the year. And welcome. It's great to be here together.
Good morning. I'm Sally. And I'm Peggy. Surprise, surprise, we're part of the Bid for Love Planning Committee. Woo! Again, and again, and again. For some of you, you were probably asking, what is Bid for Love?
The annual Bid for Love is our largest fundraiser and is always held in late October to early November. It's about fundraising, but it's also about connection, being together, enjoying each other, and finding out about group activities where you can join and have more connections.
And with the generosity of many donors so far, Bid for Love is offering, it's an amazing catalog, which you'll get to see, big items like a house in Maui or dinner and jazz at the San Francisco Jazz Club. There are hikes, boat trips, lunches, tastings, games, and items like a basket of chocolate, artisan creations, and gift certificates to purchase.
And late breaking news, Casey is going to be doing an evening of poetry.
Yay!
Next Sunday, October 29th, the auction begins. You can obtain your bidder number online or here in Borton Hall. Save the date of November 4th for the live auction and raffle evening of fun.
This year, we have many Take It Now items, like Marianne Kessler's wonderful Bisco tea and potted succulents and various things that you'll come in, pay a price, and take it with you. We don't have to keep it for you.
The bottom line, shop, have fun, meet new friends, and support the work of our beloved MDUUC.
And if you have any questions, please come and see us after the service. You can find us in Barton Hall. Thank you.
And if you have anything left that you want to donate, you must fill out this form and get it to us either via the internet or in person. Thank you. Time of the event.
I think, let's see, on November 4th, Sharon, I think 5, is it 4 to 6 or 5 to 7? 4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6. Is
See
it up
you
there?
all there.
Okay, good. See you then.
So it is the tradition of this congregation that once a month we split our offertory for the day with a community partner. And I am really, really happy to introduce my colleague and friend from Faith in Action East Bay, Chris Logan.
Good morning, Mount Diablo. I really love being here. I love being part of Unitarian Universalist churches. I only have 2 minutes and I'm a preacher, but I just want to say this. That I was first introduced to Unitarian Universalism when I started organizing in Kansas City. And one thing that I love about the tradition is that it's not so much about what you say that you believe, it's about what you do about it. And that you guys really get that. And so it's my honor to be here and to speak on behalf of Faith in Action East Bay for our Sounds of Justice campaign. Faith in Action East Bay began as Oakland Community Organizing, or OCO, in 1972 by a Jesuit priest who had been trained in organizing. And since then, we have over 25 congregations representing about 25,000 families across Alameda and Contra Costa counties. I, like many of you, have deep concern for our immigrant neighbors who are often fleeing poverty and violence and injustice from countries in Central and South America. At Faith in Action East Bay, we regularly host immigration forums with our neighbors to help them pursue legal status in the states if they so desire, as well as training people to advocate for just immigration policy at the national level that includes a path to citizenship. Recently, we had a big win for all families in California, including our immigrant neighbors, by rezoning faith lands, SB 4. So if you are a congregation, faith-based congregation, it's much easier for you to build affordable housing on your parking lots. And that's because of the work that we've done, as well as strengthening renter protections for unjust evictions. And the most profound thing, and Reverend Rodney has been able to witness this, is that we train immigrants in their own language, in Spanish. And I'm able to sit in meetings with an interpreter, and we train them to build power at the local level and to actually speak to assembly members and Congress people and senators about the things that they want and need to live and thrive in California. Now, in order to do that, we need equipment, and we strove to be really good stewards of our equipment, and we ran it to the ground. And recently we got some feedback that said, you know what, it's getting harder to hear and understand using this equipment. So we bought some new equipment. It costs about $30,000, and that's why I'm here today, is to invite you to help support this effort to train our immigrant neighbors in their own language so that they can build power with us at Faith in Action East Bay. And so I'm so excited that you guys are doing this for us in Pass the Plate Sunday. And yeah, thank you very much for having us.
So again, if that is something that you feel called to support and you are online, please go to mduc.org, click the Donate Now button, and from the drop-down, select a one-time gift, and make sure you put in the comments, share the plate. For those of you in the sanctuary, simply place your suggested gift into one of our envelopes and make sure you write on the back, share the plate. And now, in that spirit of welcoming one another to be with us in this place, why don't you turn to your neighbor and greet one another and say you're glad to be here. But only if you are.
Hello. I'm Travis McPhee. My pronouns are he and him. I invite those young and young at heart, if you are willing, to move to the front now, including those at the fidget table. I welcome you now to take a moment with me to come together in mindfulness. Thanks so much. I invite you to practice coming into this moment with stillness or movement or both, whatever is most nourishing to you. If it is helpful, concentrate on the sensation of your breathing, the way the air is coming in and going out of your body. I invite you to relax and calm. And as I speak, feel free to let all the words go right by if they aren't supportive to you. Take a moment to feel the energy gathered here. The many individuals brought together. The life and care and love that connects you all. This is a community. This is a living, breathing, growing community. A community connected by support for each other. How we support each other matters. Here and now, this community is a powerful manifestation of love. When a community holds common intention to care for each other and to work to spread that care to the world, there is a power there. It is a power that makes each individual effort more alive. A power that can change the world. Community can change the world. So we must be very careful when we come together. To come together in kindness, openness, honesty, and love, and in so many other values. Because community is powerful, community can spread what it practices. I invite you to take a few moments and consider what you want to practice in this community. What values do you intend to raise up with your actions, speech, and thoughts? How do you intend to do so? Would anyone be willing to share their communal value with us? Maybe anybody in the front? Sorry for putting you on the spot. Maybe a value I really appreciate is love. Another one could be honesty. Yeah. Thank you so much. Being kind. Thank you so much. Anyone else have one that's coming to mind? Anybody in the audience? Gratitude. Maybe one more?
I want to practice being friendly in church, and I love it here, by the way.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being a community and for your intention to be a community that lives out its values. May we come together with our shared values to inspire healthy transformation in the world.
Try that again. Good morning. I am Linda Russell, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers, and our chalice lighting comes from Atticus Palmer. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we return to a place that makes us happy, this chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others.
Hi, y'all. Oh, look, Marina's here. Well, I get to share a story with all of you. And because I'm not good at holding the mic and turning the pages, the images are on the screen right here. Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you. So this is a book called Still Stuck by Shinsuke Yoshitake. It all started when Mom said it was time for a bath. She wanted to help get ready, but I told her I could do it all by myself. I tried to get my shirt off, but it was stuck. What would happen if it was stuck forever? I was sure lots of important people may have been stuck before. I couldn't be the first. Maybe I didn't need to get unstuck. It wouldn't be so bad, right? But what if I got thirsty? Oh, you know, I'd find a way. But what if the cat tickled my tummy? How would I make him stop? I'd be really nice to him and take him everywhere I went. Well, almost everywhere. I wonder if others were stuck too. I bet we'd have fun together. So I decided to stay that way forever. It wasn't so bad. But then I got cold, and I thought about asking Mom for help. No, I could do it myself. Maybe it would help if I took my pants off first. Uh-oh, that was a bad idea. Knock, knock. Bath time. Scrub, scrub. Rub, rub. Now Mom says it's time to put on my pajamas. First, I put on my underwear. Then I put on my pants. And I knew I could do it by myself until I'm stuck again. And that is our story for today. I think we've all felt stuck before. All right, and now I invite the congregation to sing the youth out to their...
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace.
Good morning. My name is Casey Gardner. My pronouns are she and her, or they and them, and I am going to be your worship associate this morning. So today we are talking about community. And for me, community has historically been a challenge. First, I was born into a community that was in many ways very broken. East Oakland in the 90s was a place of much turmoil, desperation, and violence. The communities available for most seemed to be places that they weren't necessarily able to thrive. Though I did find my first community there in Unitarian Universalism and the beautiful work there being done for liberation, it didn't necessarily always translate into my home feeling like a safe place. Though it was a difficult choice, my family eventually decided to move. And our family community became broken during that time. One home split into two, and I physically began bouncing around communities, none of which I ever really fit into. My dad moved somewhere I would never be accepted because I didn't hold the same kind of generational wealth. My mother ended up in places where, once again, safety wasn't very present. Eventually, we did settle somewhere that I had some semblance of community and therefore felt a bit more accepted. But I didn't attend the same school, was only there part of the time. Again, it became clear that I didn't really belong. But in college, I found artist and activist communities. For the first time, I saw what it looked like to finally be accepted and appreciated for who I authentically was. But there, I encountered a different problem. These communities, full of creative, interesting, and energetic people, were built on a basis of loosely structured, unboundaried, and subjectively unaccountable methods of connection. There were no systems of safety in place. And what's more, these communities often included people with a great need for that safety. Every single artist or activist community I was invested in was beautiful. It was also mired in trauma, disenfranchisement, and abuse. Issues such as substance use, psychiatric crisis, and interpersonal violence were rampant. Once again, this was not a place I felt safe. The irony here, though, is that these problems happen in all kinds of communities, especially those without free and transparent forms of governance and systems of transformative justice. In her book, We Will Not Cancel Us, which I highly recommend, Adrienne Maree Brown writes, "I hold space for movement growth, and every time humans are present, so is conflict and all matter of harmful human behavior." She goes on to outline how it is not necessarily a reflection of the community if harm occurs, rather how the community addresses that harm and embraces necessary change that defines its own values. I left many justice spaces of my youth after recognizing that their leaders didn't always practice what they preached. The same way that faiths preaching love and tolerance of their deities sometimes use those values to justify exclusion and hate. But what I lacked there, I ironically found in many institutions and organizations that were intentionally focused on self and community work. As an educator, I regularly work amongst amazing individuals who are highly accountable, but also highly interested in creating systems that right the wrongs of our shared past. And I find that same quality in other folks that I loosely like to call helpers, those who teach, inspire, support, and care for other people in any capacity, not because it is required of them, but because it is part of their core value system and those they surround themselves with. And maybe this is why I've never been shy about calling myself a UU. I'd almost argue it's hard to exist in UU community if you don't see the value in helping when you can, or accepting when in need, as Chris mentioned earlier. So perhaps the lesson I needed to learn was this: community is not so much defined by a place, a name, or a creed, but by the feelings of comfort, safety, joy, and acceptance held by any individual within it. Communities are a reflection of love. Communities are a reflection of love felt as much as deeds done. So we have to hold our morals in one hand, but always be willing to weigh them against our actions and our impact in the other. This is the basis of treating each other well and finding that we can find belonging as much as we can create it. Thank you.
We invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening congregational song. We're going to sit at the welcome table.
We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. All kinds of people around that table. All kinds of people around that table one of these days. Hallelujah. All kinds of people around that table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. No fancy style around the table. No fancy style around the table one of these days. Hallelujah. No fancy style at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days.
Now is the time in our service where we come together to bear witness to those joys and sorrows that are too great for any one of us to hold alone. If you have written in our book of joys and sorrows today, please come forward to light a candle as I read your entry. Reverend Leslie asked that a candle be lit for the speedy recovery of our music director, On Dean Young, who is recovering from a concussion. Reverend Rodney is lighting a candle of joy, celebrating the upcoming birthday of our lead minister, Reverend Leslie Takahashi. While he doesn't know the number of this trip around the sun, he is wishing her many more to come. Sonia Christopher asks a candle to be lit for their partner, Gail Sexton, who passed away 5 years ago due to ALS. This week, and Sonia is as grateful for all the support from this congregation and Reverend Leslie. Please light a candle of support for Mary Allen as she is approaching another knee surgery. Doug Schuster is celebrating his 92nd birthday this month. The Caring Committee wishes him the happiest of birthdays and would like a candle of celebration lit in his honor. And I am asking Reverend Rodney to light 2 final candles. The first represents all of the joys and sorrows not voiced aloud today but still present on our hearts. And the second, a reminder of this one imperfect but precious world and our role in making it more loving and more just. Thank you.
We invite you to remain seated for our music meditation. We'll sing this once in Spanish with Nisa helping us, and then in English, and then in Spanish again.
This is the moment in our service where we center our hearts and minds collectively and recognize that there are some parts of our lives that require us to touch something bigger than ourselves alone. Some people call this a meditative moment, others focused intention. But today, I'm going to invite you into the traditional practice of communal prayer, which is ultimately a place for us to lay out our heart's deepest asks. Great Spirit of life, love, and healing, God of so many names and no name at all, we gather today as a community, seeking solace, healing, and unity for our world. These past many weeks have provided opportunities for our hearts to break. We have seen and continue to witness the horrors of war and liberation. We see our ideals of democracy slowly being chipped away in our own government. So many in our midst are living in poverty, are unhoused, are without medical care. And we are all called to try to engage, try to liberate, try to support, try. It seems like all we do is try. How do we continue in the face of all of these troubles? Great Spirit, bring us to the well of human connection. Let us recognize the importance of gathering together in supportive spaces and keep us limber to bend with the changing times and changing ways of human interaction. We know that we are capable of so much more when we put our hearts and minds together. I pray right now that the powers that be within our country and abroad can find a way to touch their own humanity again. I pray, Great Spirit, that you remind the leaders of these people of the wisdom of interdependence. Touch their hearts so that they be reminded that our liberations are bound together. I pray that we all may know the power of empathy and allow it to grow so much in our hearts that our bodies can't help but be moved into action. May our hands extend towards one another, offering comfort and healing to those who are hurting. May our voices rise together in harmony, speaking words of love or encouragement and justice, ensuring that we understand fully the plight of the oppressed. And may our feet lead us towards acts of service and social change, actively working towards creating a world where all are seen, heard, and valued, a place where indeed justice thrives. Through these holy actions, may we bring about a world made for peace, built on love, and married to justice. In the name of all that is holy, I claim blessed be, Ashe, and amen.
Well, that was a hard act to follow. I love that song, and Nasa did it so beautifully. I'm Jim Lincoln, a member of the Board of Trustees. So one strong form of community, the theme for this morning's service, that's always fascinated me is communal or collective ownership, when a group of people have joint legal ownership of a property or an asset. The members of this congregation collectively own this church. That is how congregational polity or governance works. We own the buildings and grounds and employ the staff, and we as a body decide how those assets are going to be used, even if the decision-making is at times indirect through our elected representatives, the Board of Trustees and the officers and the lead minister. Now, all of us own things. Some obviously own much more than others, often a lot. Sadly, such inequality of ownership is quite extreme in this country, as we all know. But we are all equal owners of this church. Of course, along with ownership comes responsibility. We, the congregation, the community of owners, and no one else is responsible for the preservation and cultivation of this precious but fragile asset that is the church. Thankfully, we generally can be counted on to meet our responsibility. A virtue of ownership, as opposed to other ways of accessing and utilizing assets, renting or leasing or borrowing, is that it instills a certain pride and motivates the owners to treat the property with loving care. When the owners are many, however, those feelings of pride and responsibility may be diluted somewhat. Some of us may think, well, I don't really need to give because so many others will surely step up to the plate. It's not hard to figure out what's going to happen when everybody starts thinking that way. Economists call this the free rider problem and view it as the Achilles heel of communal economic forms, such as co-ops, communes, and employee-owned businesses. Clearly, some of us are better positioned than others in wealth, time, and other resources to give to the church, and that's fine. They should. That's how communal ownership works. The old socialist dictum, from each according to their ability to each according to their need, really describes the church very nicely. Now, I know socialism is a scary word to many Americans, but I have always loved that phrase. It's succinct and poetic and really says it all. Each of us does what they can, and whether that contribution is large or small, the benefit is the same, or perhaps more, depending on the individual's needs. But we really do need to give what we can, individually and collectively, or the church, this precious asset that we as a community own and hold dear, will wither on the vine, as indeed many churches have in recent years. So you all know the drill in terms of how to give. Reverend Rodney reviewed it. When the friendly ushers come around with the plates, you can drop some cash or a check in the plate. If you are watching the live stream or you are digitally inclined, here in the sanctuary, you can take out your phone and gravitate to the MDUUC website, click on the Donate Now button, and follow the instructions there on how to give. Will the ushers please come forward? Would you please join me in the dedication of the offering? To the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
So many of you who know me to be a crier, and I am. So, Nasa, thank you for that today and for the band. So I'll be honest, I didn't know that song until Undine suggested that we use it for the service, and I'm very grateful that she did. Because it gave me an opportunity to learn more about Joni Mitchell and her life, and also that song. So traditionally, our faith has seen the term interdependence to be one focused on our greater ecosystems, our connections to it, and it even has upheld our focus of climate change under the wording of our seventh principle. But it may surprise you to know that this principle, along with all of the others that we claim to know so well, were only adopted in 1985 at the General Assembly in Atlanta, Georgia. They replaced the original principles adopted in 1961 after the merger of the Unitarians and the Universalist organizations. We are both. I know Steve missed the Unitarian. My Universalist heart soared when he did that, but we are, in fact, both Unitarian and Universalist. And I am no climate change denier, and I am incredibly concerned about the damage our human tendencies for immediate gratification and overindulgent consumerism are doing to our one precious home. And today, I would like to suggest that this isn't the only interpretation of our beloved seventh principle, that there is a practicality in seeing not only our environment connected to one another, but also a profound and deep interconnectedness that happens when we attempt to co-create community together. You may sometimes hear us remind ourselves, and all of you from the pulpit, that our faith is one in which we believe that all of us are divine in nature and connected to whatever the great beyond holds. Our religious ancestor, James Luther Adams, suggested in his proclamation of liberal religions that we, as Unitarian Universalists, believe that religious professionals and lay leaders alike all possess the power of prophetic voice. We are all prophethood holders. I believe that our deep connection to this divinity, this power, is how we can build community with one another. And the truth is that it isn't always pretty. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air, those are some of the enchanting images that Joni Mitchell's song, Both Sides Now, we heard earlier, invite us to look at. And for me, these pictures conjure up all of the wonderful parts about being in community together. The gatherings that are full of laughter and joy, the amazing book reads and thoughtful commentary and reflection, the often, but not always, monotonous and vital board and committee meetings that move the community forward. Our involvement in this community allows us to become the strands of angel hair among us. Our participation with one another builds the great ice cream castles in the air that Mitchell sings about. Can I ask by show of hands in this room if you have experienced that sense of deep interdependence of community before? And I'd like everyone to keep their hands up for a moment if that's okay. So if you've ever experienced this, please raise your hand. If you're online, type into the chat a yes or a no. Now just take a look around at all of the people here in this room or online who have witnessed this aspect of community, a deep interdependence. You can put your hands down now. However, the song doesn't just stop there. Joni Mitchell goes on to acknowledge the other side of the coin when she sings, "But now these clouds, they block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. For me, these are the disappointments and challenges that arise with being in human community. Maybe it's the frustration felt when our expectations of someone are not met, or when well-intentioned actions of ourselves or others inadvertently cause harm or hinder growth. These are just a couple of examples of how communities often fall short of their idealized visions. These experiences can leave us disheartened and question our interdependence to the community itself. So I'm just going to ask another show of hands. How many of you in this room or online have experienced this disappointment of community? And just take a look around in the room. And I think what is important for us to note is that it is about the same number of hands. And I'm not surprised by this. The song, our hand raising, all of these things remind me that the building blocks of community are individuals, and we are dynamic and complex. Each of us is capable of creating great harm and creating great healing in the relationships and the communities that we inhabit. Now, I know this is kind of countercultural because all of our folklore and our stories constantly pit this dynamic good versus evil, binary choices that are not nuanced, as though each of them are not wrought with their own complexity. And this is where I honor the teachings of our trans and non-binary siblings as they struggle for their own liberation, but I see my freedom wrapped in that liberation too. Because they are fighting for more than just a simple, broader understanding of the gender binary. I think they are inviting us to see the whole world as nuanced and complex in a way that breaks down the traditional thought that any situation has but two polar opposite choices. We, and thus our communities, are a spectrum ranging from harm to healing. This means that at any given time, each of us might be a cloud in the community that blocks out the sunlight, but we equally have the opportunity to be the light and air-filled hair of the angels, inspiring those around us. I wonder if James Luther Adam was right in saying that we are all prophethood holders. I think he was. But I also think that we have the capacity of being prophethood destroyers. There may be more to both sides of us and the institutions we build, whether they are religions, cities, territories, countries, or alliances. Our individual actions and choices reverberate through our interconnected web of relationships within our own communities. I think we have a responsibility to recognize that our presence in these communities matter and our engagement is critical. When Mitchell says, "I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow," she doesn't know clouds at all. I think this is reminding me that in order to recognize the totality of community, I have to be willing to show up. I have to be willing to experience the full breadth of its presence. All of the wonder and all of the pain present in our human connections become important. For me, it's a struggle that I am still trying to figure out. With the politics of the country the way they are, I have found it easiest to disassociate with those whose conservative beliefs have harmed me and my queer community. It is so easy to just ignore the clouds raining and snowing on me and just move through my life with them at a distance. But today, at least as I wrote this, I was being asked to imagine what it would be like to be around those friends and family who are far, far more than the beliefs that they hold now. Can I hold on to the memories? Those times in my life when they were the angel hair and the castles in the air for me? I don't know. So what do we do with these complexities, with these nuances? Mitchell seems to suggest that we acknowledge them and we know and understand the limits to our own expectations of them. Maybe it means that I show up for a program, even if I'm not that interested. Maybe it means I show up to Sunday service, even though the songs being sung are not particularly inspiring to me. Not today, not. Maybe my presence alone on that day is what is needed for me to be part of the community. Regardless of the answers to these questions, I am certain that I wish to be more of a prophethood holder than a prophethood destroyer. So I can try to be present more, to see the clouds from both sides, struggle with my limited ability to fully understand them, and just try. I hope each of you find a way in this complex world of today to see the clouds for what they are. May we be the ones present in that one imperfect world, work toward justice.
We invite you to please rise in body or spirit to sing our closing congregational song, I Know I Can.
We extinguish our chalice today with the words of activist Dorothy Day, who said, "We have all known the long loneliness, and we have learned that the only solution is love, and that love comes from community."
Thank